Outside of the MTEX crisis, episode 8 introduces a strange contrast that feels both comforting and unsettling at the same time. While Cammy and the company are spiralling toward disaster, other characters appear to be living in an entirely different tone of reality. Angela suddenly transforming into a gambling prodigy and turning a modest amount of money into a massive win feels almost unreal when placed next to the financial collapse threatening MTEX. Moments like these add humour and relief, but they also raise an important question about the direction of the story. When tension is this high at the core, light-hearted side plots can either balance the narrative or weaken its emotional weight. Right now, it feels like the show is walking a very thin line. Tommy's personal storyline adds another layer of emotional complexity. His decision to hire a stripper as a physical therapist is played almost like a joke, yet it reveals something deeper about his mental state. Tommy is exhausted, frustrated, and slowly losing his sense of control. He has spent the entire season trying to hold things together, only to realise that Cammy no longer listens to him the way she once did. The man who was once firm and decisive now feels sidelined, forced to watch decisions unfold that he knows are dangerous. Even TL's sudden emotional softness after episodes of longing and intense monologues feels like a calm that comes too early. It is the kind of calm that usually arrives right before everything collapses. This shift in tone is unsettling because it creates the feeling that the show is intentionally lowering our guard. When humour and comfort appear in the middle of chaos, it often signals that something much darker is coming. The emotional distance growing between key characters, especially Cammy and Tommy, makes the situation even more fragile. Tommy sees the disaster forming, but he no longer has the authority or influence to stop it. Cammy is surrounded by voices, yet she is more alone than ever. And Galeno, watching all of this unfold, benefits from every distraction and every moment where the focus shifts away from the real threat. The danger is no longer just financial, it is emotional and structural. Relationships that once provided stability are weakening, and that weakness creates space for manipulation. The lighter moments in episode 8 are not signs of relief, they are warning signs. They suggest that the story is preparing us for a sharp tonal shift, one where consequences finally catch up to everyone involved. And when that shift happens, it will not be gentle. Episode 9, titled Plans, Tears and Sirens, promises to push the tension to an entirely new level. The synopsis alone raises more questions than answers, immediately signalling that the calm we've seen in certain subplots will vanish. Angela rescuing Annesley could be interpreted in multiple ways, each carrying its own stakes. On one hand, it may be a simple act of protection, someone reckless threatening Annesley, or a minor accident that requires immediate intervention. But knowing the tone of this season, it could also be a catalyst for a larger chain reaction, one that forces hidden conflicts to surface. This isn't just a rescue. It's a narrative tool that will likely impact multiple characters simultaneously, creating ripples that will affect decisions and loyalties across MTEX. The uncertainty surrounding Annesley's situation keeps viewers on edge, making every possible outcome feel both plausible and dangerous. Equally significant is Cooper asserting his leadership at the drill site. Episode 8 set the stage for this moment by showing him stepping into the role of project manager, tasked with executing the highly risky gas extraction plan. Cooper's success or failure at the drill site has far-reaching consequences. If he manages to extract gas against all odds, it will temporarily validate the risky decisions made by Cammy, giving her a false sense of security. However, that success may provoke Galeno, who benefits when MTEX falters. Even a small victory in the well could trigger increased scrutiny, pressure and sabotage from Galeno, who will view Cooper's competence as a threat to his carefully orchestrated plan. Every decision Cooper makes will now carry immense weight, and every action is layered with potential consequences that could either save MTEX or accelerate its downfall. Cammy's arc remains the most crucial element driving suspense in episode 9. She is still blind to Galeno's true intentions, unaware that her seemingly bold choices are feeding into a larger trap. The tension here is psychological as much as it is situational. Cammy believes she is steering MTEX through a storm, but the storm is orchestrated by someone else entirely. Her trust in Galeno, combined with her emotional exhaustion, leaves her vulnerable to both financial disaster and personal betrayal. As events unfold at the drill site and within Inslee, her emotional state will be tested like never before. The fear is palpable because viewers understand the stakes better than she does. Every wrong step she takes could trigger consequences that ripple across the entire company. Meanwhile, Tommy's role in episode 9 grows increasingly complex. He is the character tasked with maintaining balance, yet his authority is already undermined by Cammy's decisions and by the growing sophistication of Galeno's manipulations. He may still try to intervene when things begin to spiral, but his exhaustion and the frustration of seeing his guidance ignored put him at a disadvantage. Tommy's struggle is no longer about pure strategy. It is about timing, influence, and survival. His actions will require him to navigate the fine line between preventing disaster and inadvertently causing it. Each decision he makes now carries the weight of the entire company's future, creating suspense that keeps viewers on edge throughout the episode. Finally, the interplay of all these storylines. Cammy's emotional vulnerability, Galeno's silent dominance, Cooper's high-stakes leadership, Angela's rescue mission, and Tommy's delicate balancing act sets the stage for a finale that promises to be both unpredictable and inevitable. Every subplot, no matter how minor it seems, feeds into a larger structure where tension accumulates and suspense compounds. Episode 9 is not just a continuation. It is a pivotal moment where personal stakes, business gambles, and emotional vulnerabilities collide, leaving viewers anxiously anticipating the consequences of each character's choices. The calm before the storm is officially over because every decision made now is pushing MTEX closer to a point of no return. What looked like controlled chaos a few episodes ago has now turned into a dangerous game where emotions are outweighing logic, and one wrong move could collapse everything Cammy is trying to protect. Episode 8 was not just another build-up episode. It was a warning. A warning that the cracks inside MTEX are getting deeper, that the wrong people are gaining influence, and that the cost of blind hope may soon be paid in full. Section 1, at the centre of everything once again, is Cammy, and episode 8 made it painfully clear that she is no longer operating from a place of balance. This episode was not about power plays or dramatic confrontations. It was about pressure. The kind of pressure that slowly breaks a person from the inside. Cammy is carrying far more than just the responsibility of running MTEX. She is carrying grief, guilt, debt, and the weight of a legacy that refuses to let her rest. The moment where she reacts so strongly to a stranger touching her face is not random or exaggerated. It is a sign that her emotional defenses are gone. She is exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly on edge. Losing her husband did not just leave an emotional hole, it left her alone in a battlefield where every decision feels like life or death. She works endlessly to honour Monty's name, yet every step forward reminds her of the debts he left behind. This emotional conflict explains why Cammy is now making decisions that feel rushed, risky, and deeply flawed. Her approval of the gas extraction plan with only a 10% chance of success perfectly captures her current state of mind. This is not a calculated business move. This is desperation disguised as courage. Cammy is no longer choosing the best option. She is choosing the option that promises the fastest escape from drowning. Rebecca and Tommy offer alternatives that are clearly safer and smarter, but Cammy barely listens. If a plan has even the smallest chance of saving MTEX and protecting Monty's legacy, she is willing to gamble everything on it. That mindset is dangerous because it makes her predictable. And predictability is exactly what predators wait for. The episode quietly shows us that Cammy is approving ideas without fully questioning them, trusting people too quickly and ignoring red flags she would never have ignored before. This is not because she is weak, it is because she is emotionally trapped. What makes this even more terrifying is the presence of Galeno, who is watching all of this with patience and precision. Cammy believes she is making bold moves to save MTEX, but in reality she is slowly walking into a situation where every outcome benefits someone else. The more pressure she feels, the easier she becomes to manipulate. Episode 8 does not show Cammy failing yet, but it clearly shows the path toward that failure being built step by step. Every rushed approval, every ignored warning, and every emotional reaction is tightening the trap around her. And the most disturbing part is that she still believes she is in control. While Cammy is drowning in pressure, Galeno is doing the exact opposite. He is calm, calculated, and always several steps ahead of everyone else. Episode 8 quietly confirms that Galeno is not just a dangerous figure from the cartel world, but an exceptionally intelligent businessman who understands timing better than anyone in the room. The revelation that he invested in Cammy while simultaneously acquiring MTEX's royalties changes the entire power structure of the story. This was not a backup plan. This was the plan from the beginning. No matter how the gas operation turns out, Galeno wins. If MTEX succeeds against all odds, Galeno immediately gets his return. If it fails, MTEX sinks deeper into debt and Galeno gains the leverage to take control. It is a flawless strategy built on patience rather than force. What makes Galeno even more dangerous is that he never pressures Cammy openly. He lets her believe every decision is her own. He listens, agrees, and positions himself as a solution rather than a threat. This is why Cammy never sees him as an enemy. He does not behave like one, and that is exactly how he manages to stay invisible while tightening his grip. When he speaks to Tommy, his lack of fear about the investment failing feels strange at first. But once the royalties are revealed, everything makes sense. Galeno is not gambling, he is collecting outcomes. There is also growing evidence that Galeno's influence inside MTEX goes deeper than financial agreements. Charlie's role is becoming increasingly suspicious, especially in how smoothly he guides conversations and subtly pushes ideas. Without drawing attention to himself, Charlie never argues, he never demands. He simply nudges people in the right direction and lets them believe they reach the conclusion on their own. His growing distance from Rebecca is not accidental either. It allows him to operate freely while still maintaining her trust through carefully chosen words and calm logic. Charlie understands people, and that ability makes him more valuable than any contract Galeno could sign. Because of this, it is hard to imagine anyone uncovering Galeno's full strategy anytime soon. Everything he has built is layered, quiet, and protected by the very chaos Cammy is creating through her emotional decisions. The system is designed to collapse naturally, without anyone realising they were guided toward that collapse. And as long as the gas operation hangs on that fragile 10% chance, Galeno has no reason to intervene. He can simply watch, wait, and let MTEX drift closer to the outcome he already prepared for.